As I promised you in my previous video, I am giving you here some advices about the prioritizing of your weaker muscle groups. This is the part 1 video. From the top 10 priorities list I prepared for you. Point 1. Prioritize sequence. This simply means to place your weak body part at the beginning of your workout so that it may be trained when your energy is at the highest point. This will ensure that that area will get the most intensity applied it without being too tired. For example, if you have weak calves, work them before quadriceps. If you have weak triceps, train them before biceps. One thing to keep in mind is to try to avoid training weak muscles first in certain cases where the logic must play its role. For example, do not work shoulders or triceps before the chest and biceps before back. This will result in your arms being too tired to have an effective chest or back work. Another factor to consider is to place weak points earlier in the week as well, or you can train weak areas after a couple of rest days. Point 2. Increase frequency. Another popular but sometimes abused method is increasing the number of times a weak point is trained per week. This doesn't imply training that certain area every single day, but possible the way is to do it every other day or 3 times per week. This method is usually reserved for smaller body parts such as calves, but it can be applied to larger areas with modification. For example, if your upper chest is lacking development, simply perform your regular chest workout early in the week, prioritizing upper pecs, and then later in the week, design a day to do just a few extra sets for that area. This way, you will not run the risk of overtraining with too much volume on both days. Again, try not to overdo it. Normally, an extra few sets per week is all you need for this method to be effective. Point 3. Pre-exhaust. This principle is extremely useful for larger body parts that require numerous compound movements. Some people may not feel the bench press in their chest very much, or they may not really work their quads thoroughly with squats. Instead, they feel their hips, glutes, and hamstrings. Pre-exhausting that particular area can solve such problems. Performing leg extensions, for example, prior to squats or leg presses will force the actual quads to work much harder. You will create new nerve activity in that area. You are targeting and strengthening the mind-muscle connection, which is a very important factor in your training. You will be more in tune to the specific area, so as you go back to a more traditional system, you will be better connected to that area. Some other examples include flies before bench presses, dumbbell pullovers before rows, side laterals before overhead presses, and leg curls before stiff leg deadlifts. Point 4. Compound sets. Compound sets are simply a type of superset where 2 sets for the same body part are performed back to back. This compound set can be performed with 2 different movements or with the same movement. This would be referred to as a strip set or drop set. For example, you could perform inclined bench dumbbell curls and then immediately do a set of standing barbell curls. What is a superset? This is a good way to train if time is limited or to build up the intensity of your workout. Supersetting involves doing 2 exercises with no rest in between. An example of a strip set is doing a set of leg extensions at a certain weight. Then, when you have reached failure, take between 10 to 20% of the weight off and continue your set. This may go on for 2 or more sets until the muscle being worked is completely spent. Point 5. Staggered sets. This technique is great to use when time is not on your side, but will help with your conditioning as a side effect. A staggered set means just that you stagger in a weak point movement while you are supposed to be resting during a normal workout. Let's say you are working chest and you want to bring up the development of your calves. After doing a set for the chest, instead of resting, throw in a set of calves in between. By the time your chest workout is complete, you will have done a good number of sets for calves, all the while spending no more time in the gym. The remaining 5 points I will show you in my next coming video. Thanks you for your attention.